Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Today, we are actually talking with two people at once. So, brand new thing for us here. So, today we've got Amanda J., better known as Star Madman, and Blue Nagoon. How are you guys doing today?
Good. And you can call me Mike. I know it says
Oh,
Blue.
Mike.
Call me Mike.
All right, so we got Mike, better known as Blue Nagoon. So, you guys recently collaborated and made this awesome 80s ballad, except one of those nice upbeat ballads kind of territory. I love that song. While we're talking about it, it's got all of that nostalgia that you look for in like synthwave and maybe some kind of vaporwave. But how did you two actually end up collaborating in the first place?
Well, I've been just kind of developing a presence online and meeting people and stuff. And I've been a fan of Amanda's music ever since I heard it, and she just keeps putting out bangers. And so when I got to the point where I was like, I'd like to collaborate with people, she was on my list. And so I sent her a message and asked, and she was very nice. And she was like, yeah, I'm pretty busy right now, but maybe down the line, and I had no idea if she was just like gently blowing me off or not. So a few months later, right. I had like my folder. I put like all my unused song ideas in a folder. And I sent her the link, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you were serious or not, but if you're interested here, check out my unfinished ideas. Perhaps we could start there. And the rest is history.
There were like tons of rough drafts in there, and I'm like going through them all. I picked out 3 that I really liked, but this one like stuck with me. Like, and I heard it like right before I was going to bed. I just heard it over and over, and I was like, I'm gonna start with that one. And so that's the one we went with.
It was interesting because she didn't pick the ones that I expected her to pick, which is cool. I mean,
okay. So which one were you expecting her to pick?
Yeah.
I don't remember specifically, but there were a couple in there that I felt were more, they were just a little further along in the process, and they sounded more polished and more like synth wavy kind of thing. So I don't know. I just kind of expected that would be a draw, but this one worked great. It was cool.
You were sending her several different projects, and hey, which one do you like? So this one ended up being like pretty much an equal collaboration between the two as far as the lyric writing and the songwriting. So, what exactly was you guys' process going back and forth? Would she write something, send it over to you? You would write something, send it over to her? Or did it kind of just come together almost magically?
Well, okay. I got, let's see, it was like the verse and chorus, and that's all it was. There was the drums, there was like some sense, there was like a lead as well, the bass. And I was like, okay, I can hear this like kind of arranged in a way. I chopped it up and sent it back to him, and I was like, what do you think of this arrangement? Then he sent me like the full length song stems. I got it back and then added, parts and stuff. Lyrics came to me. And then for the bridge, we were like, we should have a bridge. And then we like got to it, and it was just like a piano part. I'm like, okay. So we just kind of built the bridge. I would put some stuff on, send it to him. He would be like, yay or nay. And then you put some stuff on as well. Threw it back, kind of went back and forth. And then we finally just decided on the bridge the way it was. And I did like some fine tuning, mixing and stuff like that. And then voila, vocals, of course. So I don't know, it was a pretty equal collaboration, I think. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I remember the day that it had been a little while since I'd sent the stuff to her, and I was like, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And I remember the morning I got up and she had sent me a clip of the thing that with her singing on it, and I just remember I was just like, oh my gosh, Starbucks can sing on my stuff, like this is amazing. So that was really cool. And so we went back and forth. She came up with most of the lyrics and melodies and stuff, but then on the bridge, I chipped in some, and then she, refined them. And yeah, it was cool. I remember there was one afternoon in the summer that we worked on that bridge, and we were just both on Discord, just shooting stuff back and forth. And it was pretty cool. It was neat. It was almost as good as being in the same room. It worked pretty well. Amanda mixed it, and she did a great job. And she kept adding in, like, she writes really cool synth parts, and she kept like adding little bits in and stuff. And so it just kept building. And yeah, it was really fun. I've only done 2 collaborations, and they've both been really like interactive and like I feel like both parties have contributed a lot. So I don't know if that's a normal thing, but it was sure cool.
I prefer those types of collaborations. It's more collaborative, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course. So this one's actually for you, Mike. I was checking out some of your stuff. I'm gonna be honest. Before I talked to Amanda, I actually was not familiar with any of your work before this.
Oh,
so
I'm small potatoes.
Well, you're off to a great start, so I'll give you that. I just wanted to ask, how exactly did you get started making music? And, are there any particular kind of tools that you like to use as far as like software, gear, plugins, anything like that? And then with the kind of music that you make, I noticed most of what you do is a lot of kind of synthwavy, retro kind of stuff like that. Is your music always been in that kind of genre, or is this a new development, or do you like to jump around in genres a little bit?
Okay, so I started writing songs when I was like 16, and it was just me and piano. I was a piano player first and foremost. Thanks, Mom and Dad. And so I just wrote, cheesy songs on the piano. And then, my first music technology was an Ensoniq synthesizer that had a sequencer in it. So I was able to actually arrange my songs a little bit. So that was kind of cool. But then, fast forward, I ended up not writing music for 10 years just because I was busy doing other things. And then when I came back to it during the pandemic, it was like, holy cow, technology has come to the point where I can actually make pretty good stuff in my living room, So I use Ableton Live, a bunch of different software synths, basically, and guitars. That's basically the setup. It's almost all in the box, which is just easier for me. I do have a couple hardware synths, but honestly, I barely hook them up. It's just such, editing MIDI is so much easier than having to play it perfectly or whatever. I used to sing all my own stuff. And, it was very singer-songwriter-y kind of stuff. When I started writing songs again, I didn't want to sing my own stuff anymore. I was kind of tired of my own voice. We're all super critical of our own voices, especially. But I was just tired of it and interested in hearing other voices, even if they're singing my words. I just kind of wanted to hear other people singing. And so I reached out to some friends of mine that, over the years, I've done a bunch of stuff in the arts community in my town. And so I know a decent number of singers. So I reached out to them. I was like, hey, do you want to come sing on a song? And this was during COVID, and so I had this recording setup where we would be in separate rooms, and we never actually saw each other. We just communicated through the headphones and the mic. And so they came in and recorded a couple songs with me during the pandemic, and it was really inspiring because it was like having somebody else sing it. That was way more interesting to me. And so when that happened, I just kept writing, and it kind of snowballed. And a lot of it is retrowave with vocals. That's my favorite genre, probably. I like the retrowave stuff because it's kind of more old school songwriting. Like we were talking about, we have to have a bridge and stuff. I love bridges and change ups and key changes. And you don't get that kind of songwriting in modern pop anymore, really. It's more in the retrowave inspired stuff. Anyway, so that is my favorite genre, and that's probably the majority of what I write. But I do dabble in other genres. Earlier this year, I put out an album called Crestfallen with a singer, and that's all lo-fi chill pop kind of stuff. It's actually, I think it's some of the best music I've ever written, but it super flew under the radar. I don't know how you market something like that because it doesn't have a niche like the retrowave thing. So yeah, the majority is retrowave, but I also like other genres now and then.
So quick follow-up question on that. You said you, when you started out, you were singing your own parts, writing your own lyrics and stuff. So I noticed on the single, you did contribute some vocals to it, at least from what I could tell. And that was on the bridge. I started listening close. It's no, there's somebody else here.
I sing some harmonies on the chorus, and then I sing that kind of counter melody in the bridge thing. Yeah, Amanda convinced me to do it.
That sounds great.
Oh.
I mean, when I originally came up with those harmonies, I was thinking she would sing them, overdubbed or whatever. She's like, you should sing them. I was like, all right. And it turned out, I mean, my voice does do some things well. It's just, I'm not as into it as I used to be.
Yeah, I'm critical of my own voice as well, so I get it.
I kind of understand what you're saying. When you're dealing with voice, if everything's in the box, you can go back and edit and quantize and stuff. When it's actually your voice out there, it's going to be your voice. Unless you want to be one of those guys who just runs it through gallons of auto-tune, which please don't. So, Amanda, this is one of the many collaborations that you've done over the last couple of years. Whenever I see your collaborations, I know probably most people think of you as you're the voice in most of these collaborations. Because I remember you did one with Scarless Arms, Survey Channel. And, it's always been because they're instrumental artists. So you've always just been kind of the voice. But the more I find out is you do write a lot. I mean, I'm looking at your gear setup. You definitely write a lot of the parts. So when you approach these collaborations, like we were talking about earlier, how it was just a very back and forth thing, especially over Discord. Very surprising, by the way. So how do you usually approach that? Does it usually work out like this? And then what kind of tools are you big on? What kind of gear, instruments, anything like that?
It kind of depends, going to the collaborations, how to approach them. It depends on the song. Like, if I get a song that's like super pretty much done, like Elevate the Skies Close to You, I was just like, I don't think it needs any instrumentation. So I just wrote the melody and lyrics for that one. With the Survey Channel one with Paper Disguise, that was actually a rough draft of mine that I sent to him, and he put, drums and all sorts of stuff on it. He kind of like remixed it in a way. And then I did like the vocals and stuff after, it was kind of arranged. Scarless Arms, that was his. He sent me stuff. I wrote, stuff on it. It just kind of depends on like the progress of the song. Like if it needs anything, I'll add it. If it doesn't, I won't. And I'll just, do vocals and lyrics and all that stuff. And okay, gear, I'm in Logic. I usually do MIDI. I'm mostly in the box. I have synthesizers that I rarely hook up and really use. It's just so much easier to edit MIDI and work with MIDI. And there's so many like synthesizers. You can just do so much cool stuff in the box.
It's surprising because it's like a lot of the people I talk to, they're just like, oh no, I have this huge synth collection. Look, I just picked up this one and I picked up that one. And part of me gets like kind of jealous. It's like, oh man, maybe I need to invest in some hardware synths. And then I go and look at my hard drive at all the plugins that I haven't used in years. And it's like, oh man, do I just want something taking up actual space in my room that I'm not going to use? Like I said, I have a whole snare drum. What the hell am I going to do with that?
Some marching band style snares.
Oh, get the whole like setup and everything.
Yeah, why not?
You got to take up guitar. You can't MIDI guitar, and so then you have an excuse to have all these different guitars.
Yeah, I have a couple of those as well. So I don't know if you can see it on there, but I got the BC Rich hanging on the wall. I've got a acoustic over in the corner, and right behind that in its case, because my son loves to get into my stuff, is my one really nice Gibson.
Ooh, is it a Les Paul?
It sure is.
Nice. I have a Les Paul as well. I love those guitars.
Oh man, because me and my friend got into a debate because he was like he's big on Fender guitars, and I've never really liked Fender. I think I maybe was interested in buying a Telecaster at one point when I thought I was going to do like country and blues.
Tele is definitely the best Fender in my opinion. But yeah, I'm a Gibson guy. My other guitar I just got recently is an Epiphone Explorer, like a purple Explorer. I couldn't resist the purple guitar.
Oh, very nice.
But it's still the Gibson family.
So your Gibson, was that what we heard on the song?
There's no guitar in Hindsight.
No.
There's no guitar? Are you sure?
Yeah.
No way.
Unless you did it, Amanda.
No. My guitar won't stay in tune, so I never actually recorded it.
Is that the one that's hanging up in the corner back there?
So that is an acoustic bass, and then there's a actual, it's an Ibanez bass, and then over out of frame there's a Squier Strat, and then my classical, which I use all the time because it just doesn't hurt my hands when I play. So I like the nylon strings, so that's why I play with classical more than any sort of guitar. I haven't recorded guitar like on a song that I released yet.
Mike, do you use a lot of guitar on your other tracks? I know you said that there's no guitar on Hindsight, but
no. And was that a conscious decision, Amanda? I don't remember if we talked about it.
We didn't even. Yeah, it didn't even come up.
Yeah, I feel like maybe at one point we didn't want to put it on there just to differentiate it from like. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I do use a lot of guitar in my other stuff. I put an album out in October, and it's like full on like synth rock, like it's 80s rock with synthesizers. Like there's a ton of guitar on that one. I love the sound of electric guitar mixed with synthesizers. I love that sound, and so that album is all about that. And I'm sure I'll have lots more guitar in the future in my stuff, but not particularly on this song.
Listening to the song, I really liked it, and it turned out really great. So, are you guys planning on collaborating any more in the future? Because me personally, it's like I could definitely hear an entire EP in the same vein as Hindsight, and maybe you could even add some guitar in this time.
Well, for myself, I would love to keep working with Amanda. It was great. So yeah.
Definitely one of like my favorite people to work with thus far. So I'm definitely yes. So I picked out a couple of more of those demos from those like that folder that you sent me. They're in the queue because I do have a bunch of collabs lined up. So, but you're definitely like gonna do some more for sure.
Awesome. Yeah.
So while we're on the subject, Amanda, you said you have more collabs lined up. Anybody that we know?
The Ocean Beneath is going to be the one for February. Fons Tramontano is in January, and then spring, summer, and fall. I don't have exact dates for who and when yet, but Sound Engine wanted to do one. Synthwave Junkie wanted to do one. Oh my gosh, there's so many more. There were talks with Drew Knight. There were Manhattans on the list again. I can't think of them off the top of my head. I need like a whiteboard with like a list so I can check them off or something. But yeah, there's a lot on there. Kill the Night was another one. So I don't know if you know those guys. They're all talented.
Okay, so that's what's coming up in your like release lineup for the near future. Mike, what do you have coming up for the future? Do you have any more collabs with other artists, or do you have an album coming out?
Well, I just put an album out in October, so I'm not that fast. Yes, I'm sure there will be albums in the future, but nothing soon. I have a remix I did with an artist, a band called Sentinel, who's fronted by Terabud.
Yeah.
Fantastic artist. I swear she's got like 10 bands and they're all amazing. But she, so I did a remix of one of their tracks, turned it into a synth pop track. That just came out yesterday, actually. And then coming up, I still have, I have a bunch of songs that didn't make my album that I want to put out as singles. And then I've started writing again. So, but I think I'll do the single thing for a while. I think Amanda's got a good, like she does like almost monthly release. And I think that's a good way to do it. You drop an album and it's like the second half of the album nobody listens to, and it just, it's so sad. So I'm going to put everything out as singles.
Another reason I'm doing the singles is for the Spotify editorial. If you release an album, you can only pitch one song per album to the editorial. And, I was like, I'm just going to try each single, just throwing darts to see what sticks. Because it would just be sad if, like, I picked the wrong song to pitch off the album, or something like that happens. So.
Oh, yeah. I feel your pain. Spotify's they're really finicky with what they want to add to playlists and what they want to actually promote. And this is just my theory. I know on their website they're like, you can't buy your way onto a playlist, but I'm 100% sure that you can if you have enough money.
It's connections and money for sure. Yay, music industry!
So much fun.
Nothing's changed.
I just want to sit in my room and make cool music and have people listen to it. Yeah,
well, yeah, having people listen to it's the hard part.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And you need it sucks that you need those companies and stuff in order to get people to listen to your music to be able to find it in the first place.
And then if you join like a label, like, your cut is just a sliver of it, even if it's worth it, like monetarily.
I mean, more people are going to hear it, but then how do you live?
Mm-hmm.
Except with the happiness knowing that a lot of people enjoy your music.
Yeah.
While you're sitting in a 1-bedroom apartment broke.
Right. Eating ramen, crying.
Day job. You gotta have a day job.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate reality.
Day job. Yeah, I don't like mine, but that's a whole nother subject.
I think Bandcamp's one of the last bastions of goodness for the independent musician.
Oh my gosh. I hope they stay that way for a little bit longer, because I feel like the writing's on the wall.
Everything dies and sucks eventually the way things are going. So yeah, we'll just hope it lasts a while.
Yeah, I was worried after Epic bought it, but it seems to be doing okay.
So I was looking on Twitter and I saw the very first indication that things might be changing, but it's basically someone who used sampling in some of his work, I guess he used samples from copyrighted works or whatever. Apparently, this is what he claims, they deleted his entire Bandcamp page, just removed everything and got rid of the whole page because they said he was violating what is that called? The DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So, I didn't notice a whole lot when Epic first bought it, but I'm starting to feel like, I think we're getting close, guys.
But also, like, clear your samples before you use them. So I'm
Yeah,
all about, you gotta clear your samples. It's
yeah, you're supposed to. I don't know. It's a point of contention for me because I feel like, the sampling is like, it's a very creative element, and it's very popular in like a technique to be used in music now. I mean, we were listening to the radio yesterday. I hate the radio, but my wife likes to play it in the car sometimes. And we literally heard, I think it was like in 30 minutes, we heard 3 Drake songs, and he uses a sample from a copyrighted song in all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Well, he can afford to pay the rights.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm guessing he can. I'm just mad that he's going to pay all that money to use the rights and then make songs that aren't good.
I've heard a Drake song actually, so
I bet you have, and without realizing it. They're pretty ubiquitous, unfortunately.
Huh.
I'm not a fan either.
But if you really haven't heard a Drake song in like the last like few years, like, God, I'm jealous.
Yeah, I just don't listen to the radio much or get out much.
Yeah, I feel that. I try not to listen to the radio myself, but it gets turned on sometimes in the car. Usually I'm got my Bluetooth on and it's either Bandcamp or Spotify. So I'm either listening to like new people making new stuff, or I'm having my my trip down nostalgia lane so I can feel better about life temporarily.
Yeah, right? It really helps.
Yeah. That's all my music now. It's either new stuff from independent artists or old stuff that I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
There is no in between. It's amazing.
Well, what's great is that there's a lot of new stuff that has the sounds from the kids. So you get the best of both worlds.
I told you, I'm not a fan of Drake. No, I'm just saying that because it made me mad because he has a new song and he sampled One More Time from Daft Punk.
Didn't they sample that from something else too?
It's getting pretty incestuous at this point.
It really is.
The British royal family is jealous.
That's interesting though about Bandcamp because like I always understood that was the one place where you could sneak by uncleared samples. But it doesn't surprise me that they probably have to crack down on it, or just the liability or something. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
that is a bummer, but it also doesn't surprise me.
I figured it would happen eventually because nothing good can last.
I think you can pull that stuff off on SoundCloud though.
Yeah.
I really think you can. You can upload songs that aren't even yours and nobody really does.
Yeah, that is true. Their copyright check is not great. YouTube's is brutal. YouTube is so brutal with their copyright though.
I had to turn my content ID off because it was blocking out or making people take down the videos that my songs are in, and I'm just why don't you just pay me instead? Instead of taking the entire video down, do your job, pay me. What's the point of it? So I had to turn it off because it was just ridiculous.
You've screwed yourself out of 0.002 cents.
Darn.
I needed that.
But no, I mean, in all honesty, I think Bandcamp is pretty great, and it's probably the only spot left where you can actually buy music from artists.
Mm-hmm.
Because Spotify, it's all streaming. Apple, they still have the iTunes store, but I don't think anybody actually buys music off iTunes anymore.
I'll get one or two sales a month, $1 or something like that, which is nice. That's awesome. And Amazon too. But I mean, yeah.
Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I keep forgetting that they actually do music too, because I just expect them to leave a package on my door every other day.
It's a package of music.
I actually buy MP3s on Amazon, not regularly, but I'm old school and I have a little MP3 player that I use when I go out walking and stuff. Wow. And so I love to have actual MP3s. So I buy most of them on Bandcamp, but there are a few artists that for some annoying reason will not use Bandcamp. So I will buy a song on Amazon once in a great while, but I don't like to, obviously.
I think I started downloading MP3s from Bandcamp, and I only use them for videos and stuff that I put together. But the iPhone has ruined me because now it's I have the Bandcamp app. I download it in the Bandcamp app, and I can listen to it anywhere. And that's usually what I do.
Yeah, and there's so many options to listen to music. My only issue with Bandcamp, and I understand, but like you don't get paid per stream. So if people listen to your music over and over and haven't bought it, then it's kind of like listening to it for free. You can put like a cap on how many streams people can listen to it, but I kind of feel like an asshole doing that as well. But I I have put a cap on it because it's like you're gonna just stream it and not buy it. Just go to Spotify. I'll take the fraction of a penny instead.
I mean,
like, is that bad?
Yeah. We all complain about the streaming rates, but I don't know. Somehow I managed to make $35 from Spotify last year. Now, if I could just,
nice.
I know. Now, if I can just times that times 100, I can actually stop working.
I know, right? It's quite disheartening that what a million streams is $4,000 at on Spotify. I know it's kind of gross. I just don't know how anybody can survive.
Oh.
Like our level, it's just impossible. It seems like.
For most people, $4,000 is your average bills per month,
exactly.
Rent or mortgage, electric, all that. I bet Drake gets a better rate.
I bet so. Maybe paying all those lawsuits for, copyright violation though.
So where can we find you guys online? Instagram, Twitter?
Yes, I'm at Star Madman across the board. So Twitter at Star Madman, Instagram at Star Madman, Facebook /Star Madman. I think that's about it. Mastodon, Star Madman at synthwave.social. I think I'm new to Mastodon, so I'm just trying to figure it out.
Wait a second. I have a question. Mastodon, because what you just said is your username sounds a lot like an email address.
I know, it's weird. It's really complicated. I think Mike, could probably explain it a little bit better. Could you?
I don't know. It's, as I understand it, it's basically there's different servers. So when you have a Mastodon account, you choose a home server. And so what you're hearing there is the username at the home server. So it is kind of like an email address. But once you follow people on there, it doesn't matter what server they're on, you still see all their posts and stuff. But it's decentralized. So one person can't, Elon Musk can't go in, take the central server and have control over it. So, and you can migrate around. So it's actually really cool. I've been really enjoying Mastodon. It's there's no algorithm, there's no ads, nothing like that. It's a neat thing. The difference is, of course, you have to support the server you're on, financially, because it's just a bunch of people with their own personal servers kind of thing. But it's cool. I'm hoping more people jump on there.
Because people keep telling me I have to get a Mastodon account, and I'm just resisting it. But I was also resisting getting a TikTok for the longest time, and now I have 2 of those. So,
How is that working for you? See, I've avoided TikTok so far. I can't do it.
TikTok's really weird. So so if you have an Instagram or a Twitter, right? You'll get likes and stuff on your posts and whatever you put up there and stuff. And 9 times out of 10, they're people who follow you and stuff. TikTok has this weird thing called the For You page, and it just spits kind of random videos at anybody who logs on to it. So I ended up with several videos that got several hundred views. And I think out of those combined over 1,000 views, I got 4 or 5 followers out of it. And most of the likes are from people who don't even follow me. They just liked my video and then they kept scrolling. So I feel like it's really good for, I hate using this word, exposure. But as far as an actual network of people actually talking and communicating with each other, it's ass. It's absolute. Yeah.
The upshot is that the Chinese government is learning lots about you. So that's great.
That's why I've been really hesitant.
Well, I hope they're a real fan of ambient, experimental, and synthwave, because they're going to have a great time, I know working for the CCP can probably be a little, backbreaking, a little demoralizing and stuff, but if they can just hear a song or 2 that lifts their spirits and provokes their imagination, then we've all done our job.
And this is how we get banned from TikTok.
I think all you have to do to avoid that is just don't do any Winnie the
Winnie the
Pooh's.
Pooh?
Yeah, no Winnie the Pooh memes. Just and then you can keep using TikTok.
What wild.
All right, so Amanda, you're at Star Madman, pretty much across the board. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well, and Mastodon, which is Star Madman at Synthwave
Social.
Synthwave Social. Okay.
Yeah, Synthwave.social. And there's a bunch of different servers with weird names and stuff. So
If you just search Star Madman on there, though, it'll find her.
it will.
Okay.
I wasn't sure.
And Mike, where can we find you? Are you Instagram, Twitter, all of those?
Not all, but most. The easiest way to get to my stuff is bluenagoon.com. Is just a Linktree website that has everything. But I'm Blue Nagoon. That's with an N, not an L. People always get that. But Blue Nagoon, that's everywhere except Instagram, where it's Blue Nagoon Music. But just go to bluenagoon.com and it has them all there.
No TikTok yet, right?
No TikTok. I can't do it, man. I look at that. I start scrolling through it in the For You page, and I feel like I'm having a stroke. Like it's just, it's way too much input at one time. So I don't know. I guess I'm getting old, but I haven't done it yet.
I have a TikTok, but like I don't post anything. People will tag me, I'll repost it, but like I don't even post videos much anyway. So I don't know. Like it's like, why am I here?
I enjoy making videos. I do like my review videos and music videos for my stuff, but I just do that all on YouTube.
So where can we find you on YouTube? I'm guessing at Star Madman as well?
Yeah.
And at Blue Nagoon Music, or just at Blue Nagoon?
Just / Blue Nagoon.
I really enjoyed talking to both of you guys. I want to thank you guys for joining me. This has been definitely different. This is the first time I've tried to interview two people at once. Luckily, you're both really nice people, so it went well.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Yeah, this is fun.
Hey, not a problem. Whenever you guys have some more stuff coming out, I'd love for us to do this again. But I guess in the meantime, we'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Thanks, Lars.
All right. Bye, guys.